In this session, we will discuss analogy between vectors and signals. So this article is very important. Analogy means similarities. That means there are some similarities between vectors and signals. That means the concept which we use for vectors, we can use the same concepts for signals so that you can understand the concepts of the signals very easily. So that's why this article is given, analogy between vectors and signals. Before going to this analogy, let us define scalar and vector definitions in short. Scalar. So let us define scalar. Any physical quantity which has magnitude but no direction is called scalar. So as you know this definition, scalar, any physical quantity which has magnitude but no direction is called as a scalar. So what are the examples of scalars? Mass, speed, charge, electric charge, temperature, pressure, etc. You can take many examples of scalars. So let us come to the definition of vector. As you know the definition of vector from physics, any physical quantity which has both magnitude and direction is called a vector. That means any physical quantity which has both magnitude and as well as direction is called as a vector. So examples of this kind is velocity, as you know from physics, velocity, acceleration, force is also vector quantity, force, electric field is always a certain direction, etc. Like that there are many vector quantities. So these are some of the examples. So now let us discuss the first vectors and later we adopt the same concepts or we use the same concepts what we get for vectors, we use the same concepts for signals. So that is our article. Now so let us consider two vectors. Let us consider two vectors v1 and v2. Let us consider two vectors v1 and v2. Say I am taking two vectors. Say let us say this is one vector. Say v1. So let us say this is another vector v2. So the vector v1 can be expressed in terms of v2 in many number of ways, just by projecting v1 onto v2. So just to project v1 onto v2, let us call this as ve1. This component is, let us say, this is called as c12 into v2. So that is the component of v1 along v2 is c12 into v2. That means similarly the v1 can be expressed in terms of v2. Let us say this is vector v1. So let us say this is vector v2. The vector v1 can be expressed in terms of v2 in many number of ways by projecting v1 onto v2. For example, if you project a vertical line like this, so let us call this vector as ve2. So let us call this as ve1. So what is this component? This component is in the similar manner c12 into v2. Or otherwise there are infinite number of ways by which you can project v1 onto v2. For example, I project v1 onto v2 like this. Say let us say this is ve3. So this component is say C12 into V2. So you can express that. That means you can see that three diagrams. So the component, okay. So what we can write, the V1 vector. The V1 vector is equal to C12 into V2 plus VE1 in this case. So in this case, V1 is equal to C12 into V2 plus VE2. So in this case, so V1 is equal to C12 into V2 plus VE3. You can write like this. So where VE1, VE2 and VE3 are error vectors, where VE1, comma, VE2, comma, VE3 are error vectors. Error vectors. So what I am interested from this diagram is that what is the component of, in any of the cases, in any of the three cases, so whatever the manner you project V1 onto V2, in all the three diagrams one factor is common. The component of V1 along V2 is C12 into V2. The component of V1 along V2 is C12 into V2. The component of V1 along V2 is C12 into V2. This concept is very, very important. So whatever I write, that is very, very important. The component of V1 along V2. So what is the component? C12 into V2. So this is what you have to understand. So in all the three cases, what is the component of V1 along V2? So this is the component C12 into V2. So now let us say this is vector V1. So let us say this vector is V2. So let us say this angle is theta. So let us project this. What is the component from the geometry? If this angle is theta, what is this component? V1 cos theta. So longitudinal component, vertical component is V1 cos theta. As you know from mathematics, this component is, if this adjacent angle is theta, so what is this component? V1 cos theta. That means the component of V1 along V2 is V1 cos theta. So therefore, the component of V1 along V2 from the geometry, which is written as V1 cos theta, that is given by C12 into V2. So let us use the dot product definition from dot product definition V1 dot V2 is equal to magnitude of V1 magnitude of V2 into cos theta. So bring V2 this side. So V1 dot V2 by, so V2 is equal to V1 cos theta. Now, so V1 cos theta is this factor. Now replace V1 cos theta by V1 dot V2 by V2. So in this equation, let us say this is equation 1. So let us substitute V1 cos theta equal to this factor. So in this equation, so therefore what you get? V1 dot V2 by V2. So that is equal to C12 into V2. So I want the coefficient C12. I want C12. So bring V2 this side. The C12 is equal to V1 dot V2 by V2 into V2, it will become V2 square. So which is also written as, remember that in the numerator vectors V1 dot V2 by, so this term is written as V2 dot V2 also. So this component is very, very important. So what is this formula? Very simple formula. C12 is equal to V1 dot V2 by V2 square. You can easily remember this formula. What is V1? The component of V1 along V2 is C12 into V2. So what is C12? Simple formula. C12 is simply take V1 dot V2 by V2 square. So this is the formula we get here. If C12 is equal to 0, let us see this case. If C12 is equal to 0, so that means V1 dot, which makes, if C12 is equal to 0, which makes V1 dot V2 is equal to 0. From vectors, if the dot product of two vectors is 0, what is the condition? That is, so that is the two vectors V1 and V2 are mutually perpendicular to each other, the mutually perpendicular to each other. So that is, in other words, we can write there is no component of V1 along V2. So first you have to understand these concepts. That means the component of V1 along V2 is given by C12 into V2. This component C12 is equal to V1 dot V2 by V2 square. So the factor C12 indicates the similarity between two vectors V1 and V2. The factor C12 indicates the similarities between V1 and V2. For example, let us say simple example. If you take simple example, for example, say V1 is equal to, let us say 3i plus 3j plus 3k. Let us call. Let us take V2 vector as I plus j plus k. So what is our condition? V1 is equal to, we have to take C12 into V2. So what is C12 formula? C12 is very simple formula. V1 dot V2 by V2 square. So V1 dot V2 by V2 square. So just dot product this 3 into 1 3. You know the dot products of two vectors. 3 into 1 3 plus 3 into 1 3 by, what is the magnitude of V2? Square root of 1 plus 1 plus 1. Square root of 3 square root of 3 whole square, it will become 3. So you can see that 9 by 3, it will come as 3. So now you can check that. So if you substitute 3 here, 3 into V2, which will become 3i plus 3j plus 3k, which is equal to V1. So in this way, this formula is very, very important in this chapter. C12 is equal to V1 dot V2 by V2 square. So we are discussing the analogy between vectors and signals. So we have discussed vectors. Now we use the same concepts for signals. So let us see the signals. For this, let us consider two signals. Let us consider two signals, f1 of t and f2 of t in the interval t1 less than t less than t2. So first point is, consider two signals f1 of t and f2 of t in the same interval t1 to t2 or t1 comma t2. So we want to approximate f1 of t using f2 of t. What we want to do here? We want to approximate f1 of t using f2 of t. So therefore f1 of t can be approximated using f2 of t as, just like what we have written, v1 is equal to c12 into v2. Similarly here we write f1 of t is approximately equal to c12 into f2 of t. We have to clearly mention we are approximating these two signals in the interval t1 to t2 only. So this is f1 of t, just like v1 is equal to c12 into v2. Similarly what we write here, f1 of t is approximated as c12 into f2 of t. So we want to find out the value of c12 such that, so this approximation is better approximation. So what is the error in this approximation? The error in this approximation is fe of t. The error in this approximation is represented by fe of t, which is simply f1 of t minus c12 into f2 of t. So this is the error in this approximation. So remember that we want to minimize the error. That is our objective. So therefore what we have to do is that we have to take the mean square error. So let us define the very, very important term, the mean square error. The mean square error in this approximation the mean square error in this approximation is, so it is represented with epsilon, as the name itself indicates. So as a understand very carefully, so we have to first square the error and we have to take the mean of this error in the interval t1 to t2. So from mathematics, what we can write it as 1 by t2 minus t1. So this indicates the mean, integral t1 to t2. So square the error, fe square of t dt. So you can see that error square and we are taking the mean. So therefore this formula is very important. This is called as mean square error. Mean square error. Let us substitute fe of t in this expression, and so therefore which is given by 1 by t2 minus t1 integral t1 to t2. What is fe of t? f1 of t minus c12 into f2 of t whole square into dt. So let us square this. So therefore which is written as 1 by t2 minus t1. So that is the mean, 1 by t2 minus t1. So integral t1 to t2. Let us square the interval terms a minus b whole square. It will become f1 square of t plus c12 square into f2 square of t minus 2c12 into f1 of t into f2 of t dt. f2 of t dt, write it outside, dt, f2 of t. So this is a minus b whole square, f1 square of t plus c12 square into f2 square of t minus 2c12 into f1 of t into f2 of t dt. So this is the mean square error. Remember that we want to minimize mean square error. Mean square error. For example, if you take such a function, so x cube minus x square plus 3x plus 1. Let us say this is the equation. We want to find out the value of x from maxima minima concepts from mathematics. We want to find out the value of x such that this function f of x is minimum. So what we will do, we differentiate this equation and equate to 0, we get the value of x. So similarly, so therefore coming to this equation, we want to find out the value of c12 such that this error is minimum. So what we have to do, so to find the value of c12 at which this error is minimum is obtained by d epsilon by d c12 if you differentiate this equation with respect to c12, similar to maxima minima concept. So therefore what we write here is that, so therefore to find the value of c12 at which mean square error, the mean square error is minimum, is obtained by, similar to maxima minima concepts. So what we have to do, d epsilon by d c12 is equal to 0. So we have to make the differentiation of epsilon with respect to t c1 to 0 to find the value of c12. I am writing the epsilon equation again, 1 by t2 minus t1. So integral t1 to t2, the first term is f1 square of t plus c12 square into f2 square of t minus 2c1 into f1 of t into f2 of t dt. So differentiate this equation with respect to c12 and equate to 0. If you differentiate this equation with respect to c12, so this term will come out, right side will go to 0. So therefore directly differentiate, take c12 inside. Therefore this integral is written as t1 to t2. So first the differentiation of epsilon with respect to c12 is 0. First term is 0 differentiation. The second term differentiation with respect to C12 is 2C12 into F2 square of t, plus the third term differentiation is with respect to C12 is 2 F1 of t into F2 of t dt is equal to 0. Now, so let us separate the terms. You take the 2 as common. 2 will go to the right side, it will become 0. Let us separate these integrals. So write C12 constant outside. So the first integral is written as t1 to t2 f2 square of t dt. So let us take the other term to the right side, the other integration term to the right side. So therefore this term is written as integral t1 to t2 f1 of t into f2 of t dt. So what we want the value of C12. So therefore we want the value of C12. So from this, what is C12? The C12 is given by integral t1 to t2. So f1 of t into f2 of t dt by. So bring this term to the right side. So t1 to t2 f2 square of t dt. So this is the very important formula of this chapter, C12. So if C12 is equal to 0, let us say if C12 is equal to 0, so what happens? Take this term to 0, then it will become integral t1 to t2 f1 of t into f2 of t dt is equal to 0. That means these two functions f1 of t and f2 of t are orthogonal to each other. That means similar to vectors, that means f1 of t and f2 of t are orthogonal to or mutually perpendicular to each other, orthogonal to each other. So that is, there is no component of f2 of t in f1 of t. We can write in other words also. That is, we can write that is, there is no component of f2 of t in f1 of t. We can write in other words also like this. So these formulas are very important formula. Remember this formula. Remember these formulas. So coming to the analogy, now let us simplify all this what we have discussed about vectors and signals in short. So this is say vectors. Say let us say these are signals. Let us shortly write. So the component of V1 along V2 is given by what is the formula? C12 into V2. The component of V1 along V2 is C12 into V2. As I explained earlier formula, what is C12? Simple formula. V1 dot product with V2 by V2 square. Okay, now let us extend the same concept to signals. In place of V1, let us take one function f1 of t is approximated as, by using f2 of t as C12 into f2 of t in the interval t1 to t2. So based on this formula, similarly you can write the expression for C12 as, what is the C12 expression? Just similar to vectors, f1 of t into f2 of t, so that is t1 to t2, f1 of t into f2 of t dt by, so what is the denominator similar to vectors? Denominator is t1 to t2 f2 square of t dt. So you can see the analogy between vectors and signals. So this is called as analogy. Similarly, if two vectors, if C12 is equal to 0, what happens? V1 dot V2 is equal to 0. So that means these two vectors are orthogonal to each other. Similarly, if you come here, if C12 is equal to 0, so what we can write? Integral T1 to T2. So f1 of t into f2 of t dt is equal to 0. You can see almost the same kind of formulas we are getting for signals. So that's why this is called as analogy between vectors and signals. So this is about the analogy between vectors and signals. Very important article of first unit. Thank you.